Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do start, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. We had Deku. We also had the group. Now, everybody was here at the campsite. They found Eunice the day before after she fell from the sky. And Deku, he felt like he could talk to this girl. There was something about her, the way she was around him, the way she treated him, the way he could talk to her. The two, they sort of clicked. He doesn't know. He had a lot of fears about the Omnitrix and the situation he's been put in. Fact of the matter is, being able to be the wielder of the Omnitrix and Izuku Midoriya hasn't exactly been easy. These two sides of his life have conflicted. Duty and, well, life as Deku. His identity's public and he doesn't have any more anonymity. People know who he is, plain and simple. And that has put a target on his back. Somebody shot him and Mina broke up, she tried to kill him, and then he made a deal with Alien X. And he's honored that deal. They healed his body, and he came out to the campsite. And for him, it's been over 3 months. He spent 2 days straight as Alien X, over 2 months talking with Bellicus and Serena. The third day, he took a break. And then he went back to it for a few more hours. Then, Bakugo found him this morning as Alien X. Bakugo found out exactly what's going on with Izuku. Deku has had a lot of stress. And Eunice, she was there to help him cope. He was worried about the scare, the Ghost Freak transformation that he found in the Omnitrix when he was going through the new aliens he has. He was also worried about transforming into an Anodite. However, whenever he transformed into an Anodite, he found that his mind felt free of stress, free of his burden, free of being human. The way it affected Izuku, he just felt all that stress wash off of his body. And later that day, they began to do a lot. Bakugo could understand a bit more. Kai was still concerned. And everyone, they went out to go party and have a barbecue. However, after everything was picked up, there was Sunder, one of Izuku's villains. One that has done something to Izuku before. Chopped off his hand and sent him to the null void. He made a reappearance, but he wasn't after Deku. He was after Eunice. And Izuku, him and Eunice found out a lot of things. He came in to stop Sunder. He then also made sure to keep Eunice safe. But then Azimuth arrived and told Izuku about what happened over in his vaults. He sent the Unitrix away. The girl he finds himself with right now is not a living organic human being. She is the Unitrix. Someone touched the device and it took their DNA sample and made a Earth host for the device to inhabit. And Eunice, she found herself horrified by this. She can live, she can breathe, she can feel, and she has emotion. But Azimuth tried to make it clear, she is not alive. She may be organic, but there is no soul in that machine. And Izuku, he fought Azimuth on this. But Azimuth, he wasn't just here for this. He told Deku that Albedo has the Ultimatrix, a device that he stopped making. That device will show exactly how far a creature can be pushed. That device will turn his machine into an actual weapon of war. It is dangerous. There is a reason he stopped making it. Though Izuku, he needs to be aware. Albedo is out there. And with this thing, he is going to cause havoc. Though Izuku, he was ready for that. And with that being said, right now let's cut about a week later. Eunice has still been out in the woods, still trying to process this information. She has a father, azimuth. But she's not human. She's not technically anything. The form she finds herself wielding, it's not technically her own body, but it feels like her body. She has hands, she can breathe. She ate food this morning and, well, she's also done a number of things. But that's besides the point. If this is not life, then what exactly is? What would you classify it? I mean, a galvanic megamorph is not alive, but that's another thing. I mean, there are certain creatures out in the universe who they technically are not organic, right? So, what does that make her? She is organic, and she's even, well, been able to feel pain. She accidentally scraped her knee the other day and bled. She is alive. And Izuku, he does see this. Eunice is having a crisis of her own. And Izuku, he's been trying to deal with his own. The Enidite transformation, it's almost addicting. It's nice to have, nice to utilize. Though right now, he does want to be there for his friend. And currently as I walk over, him going to sit down as Eunice is at turn. Her going to pull him into a hug and trying to at least ask him more questions. Ask him about more things. Since she's, well, completely in a frenzy about this all. And Deku, he does try to calm her down. And we do actually have Kai. Kai, she has gone back and forth through communications with Mina. Though right now, she's a bit worried about what she might say next. I mean, Mina does respond, but it's iffy sometimes. And currently, she's at a message her friend, trying to explain to her about a situation. However, she is going to leave out one crucial detail. This Eunice girl. And currently, we do cut over to Mina. Mina finds herself on Anodyne. The planet is beautiful. It is lavished with life. And, well, it's just so foreign to her. And currently she just sit there. Her deep in meditation as Verdona does sit in front of her granddaughter, trying to express many things. Her mind feels clouded. Her mind is like a raging storm. However, if she simply clears it and allows herself to focus, she will be able to maintain a lot of things. The advice she found herself being given during the mind meld, it is very useful, very informative. However, exactly how does she feel about many things? Concerned. Yes, but concerned about what? The future? Everything. I mean, I spent so much time here. I know they're my memories, but they don't feel like mine. I'm looking through my own eyes, seeing things, hearing things, but they honestly don't feel real. Many things don't. That is the miracle of this place. With a snap of a finger, we can change things. It is how our powers have matured. I'm sure one day you will feel it too. Though you don't expect to be here for very long. No. I'm just worried about your boyfriend. Uh, well, that's another story. Yes, one you would rather like to share? I would rather not. Why? Anodites are open. Anodites experience the universe one step at a time, and we take things one, well, day at a time. If you are going to harness this power properly, you will live for eons, dearie. Her flying forwards, and going to float into the air. Her uncrossing her legs and expressing. Bring her hands up to Mina's face. There is much she will experience, much she will do. And the more she tries to gain a handle on life, control it, the harder her powers will feel to control. Her flying backwards up into the air, talking about it. The Enedites are free. They cannot be caged, they cannot be housed. They do as they please. If she does embrace this idea, let go of control, then things will feel better. She will understand true control. She has trained many years to harness her own emotions. However, how much time does she think it will take to do that? I don't know. A long time. It will take decades, dearie. However, take control back one step at a time. You'd be surprised. It'd be like building a house brick by brick. Humans, they don't live for very long. However, if they did this every single day, you know what they would see by the end of their life? I don't know. Something huge? Well, I'd say they could build a village. They could build many things. Large roads, many streets. However, for an Enedite, we could build large things. In fact, I'd say we could build an entire city. That's, yes, a lot. Mina, you are afraid of who you are. You are afraid of your powers, your gifts, because you don't understand them at all. That is what I am here for. No, I do. I understand a lot more now, but I feel like I'm skipping ahead. Yes, that is true. However, we'll work with it, one step at a time. And if you do find yourself caring a little too much, then we'll backtrack. Her gonna turn, flying up into the air, and Mina does get to fly after her own grandmother, trying to understand what all that does mean. And we do currently have back over on Earth. The car got packed up, and everyone, they were beginning to leave. And there actually was where Deku, he was saying goodbye. Eunice was already in the car. She was going to come back with him. If Albedo is going to be another problem, then, well, he's got to be ready. He's going to make sure things are going to be fine. Things are going to be okay. We do currently have Pierce, who does come walking up, talking about it, bring his hand out. It was nice to see him again. It sure was. Him shaking Pierce's hand, turning as Helen does a step forwards, her pulling him into a hug, him backing away and turning to Bakugo, asking if he's not going to say goodbye. And Bakugo, he's turning the key to his car, him throwing up his left hand, telling them, I'll see them all later. Currently, him going to back away. And we do actually have Manny, who does go to bring up one of his hands, talking about it. Next time he wants to try and at least train, give them a heads up. He'd like to knock his ass around. Deku holding up his hand and shaking it, talking about it. Sure they could. Though, how about he does him a bit of a favor? What kind of favor? Name it. How about you fight Princess Luma for me? You know, take her off my hands? No fucking way. Worth a shot. Though, I have beaten her in combat. I know. I'm not that crazy. I mean, you could have fooled me. Though, Manny, you think you're being a little bit of a bitch? Manny is staring at Izuku, beginning to put a bit more pressure down in his hand. And Deku, he has a turn directly into forearms. Manny looking up a bit and talking about it, as Deku does begin to put more pressure down in his own handshake. And Manny does express, okay, he gets it. So, is he gonna let go? Sure. Both of them letting go of each other's hand, as Manny talks about it. He's not willing to take that bet. Besides, if Luma lost to him, and, well, his Tetraman's pretty strong, he's not going to doubt anything. Besides, he's heard plenty of stories of guys who fought in her. Right. Afraid you're not just a chicken? I'm afraid of a lot of things. She's one of them. Right. Deku turning human. Turning and walking back over to the car. Climbing inside, and beginning to drive off. And Eunice, she wants to know a lot more about life on Earth. A lot more things. And Izuku, he is going to turn on the radio, beginning to tell her about the plumbers, and about how Earth exactly started a few years ago and then now. And currently that drive, it is a little long. And we do actually have later. Deku, he began to make his way back to the plumber base. As someone, they were planning a few things out. And they definitely wanted to make sure to catch his attention. They wanted him to be there because he hasn't been there for a minute. Maybe they may have scared him away. Maybe he was afraid. Or maybe he didn't think it was worth his time. Though they're highly doubtful of all of that. And currently we do actually have where Deku, he does a drive back into town. Currently, him turning off the highway as him and Bako, they do the drive into the underground passageway to the farm base. Them having their information scanned and then being able to drive inside. And Deku, there currently is for someone they do get a radio in to his badge. Him turning and grabbing it before going to at least press the button. Hello? Izuku, is that you? Yeah. Hey, Mark. What's up? Not much. We have reports of a situation. Do you think that you can handle it? Uh, I just got back. How bad is it? Okay. If you can, get your stuff set down. Then, what we need you to do is simple. We need you to head out and deal with the creature we found. We believe it's the same one you may have encountered before. You serious? Yeah. And that's a whole other thing. If it is the same one, then we might have found a lead. But that's a different story. Are you up for it? Yeah, I am. But listen, I sort of have a guest with me. A guest? Yeah, Mark. That's a different story. Listen, on the same floor I'm on, can you see about getting one of those rooms? It's gonna be a bit complicated, but I need a space close to me. Okay, I'll see what we can do. But how important is this? Let's just put it this way. If the person with me isn't close, they're in a lot more danger. Besides, we need the base to be on high alert. There's a possible chance that Albedo, he could come to Earth. Albedo? But didn't you... Mina talked about this guy before. He was the copy of you? He was. Though apparently he's got a new watch. And he might come here. Listen, the code phrase is, how about upchuck? Are you sure? No. Hang on. The code phrase. No, he'd expect that. Okay, Izuku. Code phrase, alpha. Okay, that works. Listen, I'll check it out, but just make sure to at least follow what I'm saying. Alright? Alright, Izuku, just head out and deal with that. Currently, Deku going to drive up. Getting out and going to turn. Talking about how he'll take care of this real quick. Just stay here. Okay? I'm going to turn. Currently transforming into Big Chill and flying up out of the base. Before Deku, when he does at least fly out, here's a turn to Jet Ray. Right now him going to take off with a massive sonic boom. And he does begin to head into town. Deku, he is flying overhead. And right now, he does go to see the bug lizard. He does see the creature. Currently, him going to fly down as this massive thing. It doesn't look too good. Izuku, he does go to blast out this creature. Currently him blasting with his tail and blasting with his eye beams. In it, it does go to get struck into the ground as the thing is a turn. Looking at Deku, as Deku, he does get transform. Currently him smash onto the ground and going to stand. Currently him as Shock Squatch. Before he has to express. Alright, well he plans to take this thing down pretty fast. Currently him bringing his hands up and going to begin to produce electricity. On Deku, he does go to rush forwards and be ready. Currently him going to watch the creature. It turning and beginning to rush to get Deku. And Deku, he does go to bring his hand up. This thing going to bring up its hand to try and shoot out its claws. And Deku, he does brace his body. Currently him throwing up his hands to block. And the creature, when it does a swing on Deku, he has to send out a massive amount of voltage directly into its arm. And it does a scream out in pain. It's going to try and back away his Deku. He has to rush forwards, him bringing his hands up and grabbing it. As currently there is the creature, it does try to get away from Deku. And as Deku, he does begin to produce a massive amount of volts. And there currently is Kyber, who does go to watch Deku. Since he's finally arrived, and he is back in the action. He is clever. And right now he does it a whistle, wanting the creature to change. And Deku, while he is holding the creature, it does get to hear the sound. Before it does, going to transform, and Deku, he does it a watch on. Currently, it beginning to turn into a massive crab-like creature. And Deku, he doesn't stop shocking it. Him transforming into Big Chill and flying backwards and away. Him going to suck in a breath as the creature is to transform again. And Deku, he does it a watch on. Currently, this is not good. Wait a second. No, 1, 2, 3. This is 3 of the monsters. And Deku, he has a stare on. Currently the creature looking at Deku before he does go to stare. Something's not right. And Deku, he does a look on. Currently him looking at the creature as it does begin to make its way closer to him. As it is currently hypnotic. Now, Deku, he is trying to focus. His mind's just wandering. And this isn't very good. Now, we do currently have some of the plumbers who are watching on. This thing is moving forwards. And Big Chill is not doing anything. And someone, they do to blast out. Currently, people begin to give Deku some covering fire. And right now, Deku, he is staring. For the creature, it does have some blast fly past it, and it is a turn. Feeling one of them hit it as it does screech out. And Deku, he does still stand there, somewhat hypnotized and trying to shake that off. However, he has to look back up and see the creature, before he has to close his eyes and fly backwards. Currently, him transforming into a different flying alien. And Deku, he does go smash onto the ground and stand there. Him, right now, as Humongosaur. Before bringing his hands up and beginning to grow in size. And the creature, it does look down. Before Kyber does the whistle again. Before transforming into a massive dinosaur. Okay. Not good. It began to rush forwards. And Deku, he gets to bring his hands up. Currently, him throwing his hands up and trying to stop the creature from biting down on its head. And the thing is massively powerful. It's definitely strong. Deku being pushed backwards as he's falling backwards onto the ground. Him smashing onto his back. And the ground, it does a shake. And the creature, it does begin at least try and stand over Humongosaur. Its massive jaws going, try and bite down on Deku. But Deku, he is trying his best to hold him back. And he does feel the drool currently beginning to cover his neck. And Deku, he has to bring his foot up. Him kicking in the side of the armor and finding that that didn't work. Okay, no. Big Chill, not in the options. Maybe. Okay, let open. I'm gonna transform. And Deku, he has had the creature suddenly smash his face directly down and into the ground. And he does begin to reform around it as he does begin to grow in size and begin to wrap around it. Begin to change it. And Deku, he is trying to think. That one alien. No, that was not right. But how? It was a counter to Big Chill. Okay. He's gotta have something. Maybe? But that just does not make sense. Okay. Deku began to try and restrain it. And he is staring at the creature, trying to think about what to do, how to handle it. And Izuku, he does a turn. Him seeing something hit the ground, as right now he does a turn. Him going to transform, as right now he's a flying up into the air at high speeds. Currently a jet ray. And this is where the thing does go off. The sound grenade screaming out directly into the monster. And Kyber, he has a stare on. Deku looking down and trying to scan the area, trying to see about exactly what the hell that might have been. And Kyber, he does still stand there. Him trying to hide his presence from Izuku. And Deku, he is annoyed. Him going to transform again directly into Squid Left. Bringing his hand down his Kyber, he has a whistle, trying to recall his dog. Now, this is where the creature, it does going to turn. It begin to try and run off as Deku, he does lift up into the air. And Kyber, he does going to see this. Currently him looking down. And Deku, he is trying to scan the area. However, people are beginning to gather. People are trying to get in close. Understand what the hell is happening. Because they see the wielder of the Omnitrix and that alien up in the air. No way. It can't be. But he used that before, didn't he? That's an old one. A classic. And Deku, he does stand there. I'm trying to find any thoughts. I'm trying to find anything. And Deku, he's looking around. As currently the dog in the air does float there. It's still biting out and trying to attack. And Deku does find this to be rather annoying. Currently, him turning his head. Before he does, gonna put a message in its mind, and the dog, it does gonna fall limp. Currently, it unconscious. And Deku, he's gonna fly forwards, bring his hand out and onto this thing's collar. That symbol. No, he has seen something like it before, hasn't he? Okay. Right. This thing is definitely bad. But this thing's a dog, right? No. It's an animal. It's like a hunting dog. Deku turning, still trying to scan the crowd. Before, he has a hold on the dog's collar and begin to fly through the air. Him trying to find the owner of the creature. Trying to scan for any thoughts. And Kyber, he already made his way into the sewers and made his escape. Right now, he's dealing with a urexite? I believe that's the name of the alien species. Or a uranite. It's so confusing the way that's pronounced. Anyways, now, he needs to get away. Maybe find an effective counter. Or maybe get a new dog. Or recover his own. Since this definitely was not what he was expecting. He thought he had it under control. Though maybe he just began to underestimate this human. And Kyber does try to make his getaway. And Izuku, he does go to bring Zed, Kyber's dog, directly into the former base. Since right now, there's a lot happening. And this device, it certainly is an oddity. Since it allowed something to transform into creatures that might have countered the Omnitrix. If he's right, then that makes this thing similar in design, similar in origin. And Deku, after Zed is properly caged and the collar is put into storage, he does want to walk through the base. Him feeling a bit strange in his regular clothes. He got used to the plumber suits. Definitely nice. Though the fact that he doesn't have armor in his actual transformations, it does sort of suck. Though I mean, no. They need to design something, right? I mean, it's not impossible, but it definitely would be hard. So, there is that. Deku walking into an elevator. Him turning and pressing a button. As he does get a wait. Okay. contact Azimuth, let him know what's going on, and check in on Eunice. Deku gonna turn, bring his hand up, and looking at the shiny wall. Okay, he looks okay. That thing didn't bite his face off. His hands are fine. Though, he still got a headache from that hypnosis thing? Did it try to hypnotize him? Okay, maybe it did. Definitely a strange alien. Though, if he does get in the Omnitrix, it could be useful. Though he didn't have a scanning option. Maybe because he was transformed? And the elevator currently doesn't open. Deku going to step out and being walk down the hallway. Okay. He'll inform Azimuth about it after he checks on Eunice. She's probably not having a very good time. Definitely not having a very good time. And currently Deku does not turn the corner. As he does get to see Kendo and Eunice. Oh no. And Izuku, he stares at this. Him walking up and asking, so, is there a reason why they're outside his door? Oh, hey, Izuku. Do you know her? Yeah, that's, Eunice. It's a long story. I've met your friend. She's rather nice. Yeah, she's a very nice person. Is she? She's pretty, too. Who does her hair? Uh, that's a bit complicated. I do my hair. Though it's all sort of natural. It's a lot to explain, but I like to keep my human appearance on. Human appearance? Ooh, are you part alien? I am. Does that surprise you? No, it's just, you look really pretty. Also, you don't look alien at all. So, what's your deal? My deal. Okay, Eunice, you might want to leave her alone. Kendo, this is, a lot harder to explain than it seems. Harder to explain. Right now, I was ordered by a magister to put her stuff in your room and clear out a room on this floor. I didn't know they made you do that. We're spread thin. With security on the rise, I was appointed to do this. Though, yeah. So, what's your deal? Amnesia, royalty, or some sort of political thing? Actually, this is Eunice. She's, created by Azimuth. Azimuth? Created? Yeah, long story short, I'm sort of a. Well, I'm. I'm not sure what I am. Oh, that's weird. Yeah. Though, so about that room. We're gonna turn. Change the subject to Suzuku does watch our attention change completely. And Kendo does talk about it. Currently her making her way over to a door, pressing the button as is a slight open. And the room has already been emptied. Right now the person inside, they were told about the change and floor. And they were not about to pass this up. They got a transfer approved. And right now, getting as far away from this guy, the guy who wields the Omnitrix, it's probably the best option they have. They've heard a few things that have happened, along with, well, they're worried about exactly what might happen to them, being in such a close proximity to this guy. Other rooms in this floor, they've already had transfer requests approved over and over. And people have had to fill those ranks. So yeah, they are not about to overlook this chance to live. And currently there actually is where Kanata should ask. So, she speaks awfully highly of him. Yeah, it's a long story. How weird is it? She fell from the sky in an aircraft. Then I tried to help her out, and now I'm helping take care of her. Right. You know, she says that you're a good friend. I'm trying to help. She's not an organic being, but she is, if that makes any sense. Think about how my watch transforms me. Really? I guess I never really thought about it, but technically when you're Linopen, you're a Linopen. Yeah. So, what? She's just a transformation? No. She's real. That's Eunice. She's alive. Are you sure? I've seen her smile. I've seen her cry. I've seen her happy. I've witnessed her life already. She's alive, Kendo. You're you're awfully defensive about this. Yeah, listen. Albedo might be back. Code phrase Alpha. Albedo? Wait, is he after her? He might be. If he finds out about her, she's gonna be in danger. Currently, Deku having his badge go to Buzz, along with Kendo getting a, let's just say, message. And this isn't exactly too good. Kendo reading her message and going to turn. And Deku, he does it a communication from Mark. Currently him patching through as there actually is Eunice, who just come walking to the door, watching Kendo run off, before turning to Izuku, asking if everything's okay. Mark, what's happening? Listen, Izuku, we've got a situation. Is it Albedo? No. It's a bit worse. How is it worse than Albedo? Izuku, the incursions and the Tetramans are currently trying to have a meeting. I think I'd like Vilgax to come back to Earth. Izuku, this is serious. I'm sorry. But what are they having a meeting about? They're having a meeting over you. Me? Yes, Izuku. The plumbers have been trying to play things carefully. And right now, after they find out that you are here, they want to resume the meeting today. Listen, this is over exactly what happened a few days ago. And, well, Izuku, I've got a question to ask you. Yeah, what is it? Princess Luma said that she received a gift. And Princess Atea, she said that you and her went on a date. Though Luma's saying a lot of other things. Do you mind confirming anything? Um, yeah, I went on a date with Atea, but that was over the Mina thing, Mark. It's I didn't want her to say something in front of Mina. Okay. So can you confirm that you also sent a gift to Princess Luma? Yeah, but I had someone take care of it. I was trying to set barriers with her and see if maybe she would stop breaking into my room. Izuku, do you mind telling me exactly what you sent to her? I didn't send it to her. I had Arjit take care of it for me. I see. Izuku, you are aware of what Arjit sent her, correct? No, I'm not. What did he do? Izuku, he sent her a wedding dress. Along with that, he sent her a various amount of clothes. So, let's just put it this way. Right now, we are trying to prevent an incident. Princess Luma thinks this is an invitation for you to start the wedding early. And Princess Atea, she is currently opposing all of this by threatening to blow up the planet. We're trying to bring in another diplomat. Earth's diplomat is not doing good. And the only other one we have on base right now is, well, just head there. Okay, fine, I'll do that. But how bad can this be? And Mark, he doesn't hang up. Currently, I'm going to sit down as his badge. It does get a blink. Him looking at it, and then going to look down, pressing the button, and seeing that Mina left him a message. Currently, a hologram going to pop up. And he does a stare at this. I'm a bit concerned. As Mina, she's done this before already, trying to stumble her way through a message. But she's not deleting them. She's sending them to him. It's made him concerned. The last few days she sent him messages. Some of them seem to be a little bit of gibberish. Some are showing that she's okay. And she's even made mention. Anidates are free. They embrace this idea of freedom. They don't make mistakes. They embrace them. And she's been trying to do that. So, well, that just leaves her a bit of a problem. She made a mistake on Earth. And she's trying to ask advice about how to fix it. And we do currently have Deku, who does gonna walk into the room and turn his head. I'm looking around, and it looks bad. There is an Earth diplomat. There is another diplomat from another planet. There's 3 others. And there's a turn. Seeing Luma's father and Luma. Seeing Emperor Milius of the incursions in Atea. And then Deku sees the other diplomat that's here. He sees Kendo. Oh, God. You know, maybe he really should be fighting. No, he's probably gotta go. Maybe he just doesn't need to be here. My God, he's gonna fucking kill Argit. Thundek's mine. Him gonna walk into the room and ask exactly what's going on. And Lumina doesn't immediately gonna jump up. Her expressing that her husband-to-be has shown he really does care. And she would like to go ahead with the wedding ceremony. Although she has had a few problems, and she would like to conquer the enemy in front of her, trying to prevent the ceremony. And Deku does stare at that, before he's going to walk over and go to take a seat, turning his chair and seeing Emperor Milius. The man expressing, bringing his hand up. It's very good to meet him. The fact of the matter is, he'd like them to cut to the chase. Izuku, he is a very interesting individual. His proficiency in warfare and his annihilation of an entire race in less than a day would put him among the ranks of the incursion legends, and they would like to have him added to their growing empire. And their actions were Mr. Redwind does express that would not be possible. The boy has already faced off against his daughter, and by tradition is her betrothed. If I may speak, both of them turning to Kendo, and she would express, this is a very delicate situation. She does have experience with, well, political marriages, since she is not only the Lenopan ambassador for Earth and her people, she is the product of said arrangement that they're currently put in. And Deku does stare at this. Currently, I'm going to turn. And the people from Earth, they do currently going to make their way out of the room. Since Deku, he does currently see that the wall does have a chair planted in it. Okay. That's bad. I'm turning back. And Kendo is trying to explain. Right now, what they've got to do is be very, very delicate about all of this. Okay. The situation seems to be very intense. So, how about Emperor Milius and Emperor Redwin, the two both step out of the room? She would like to have a private conversation with Luma and Atea, and hopefully Izuku, and they may be able to find out some neutral ground to take this to. And Deku, he does sit there. These two both going to stand up as Mr. Redwin does a turn to Luma. And she does express her father may leave. Fact of the matter is, she's spoken with this human before. And she is, let's just say, an interesting ally to have. She is definitely someone they can trust. And Kendo does stand there, as she does a turn to Atea. And Milius does a look towards her. Her talking about how Earth does have a bit of an incentive to choose the Incursion Empire. She's not worried. Besides, she's fairly certain that she can convince Izuku. Fact is, we're going to turn. They give him a bit of a wink. She definitely knows how to handle him. And Deku is to bring his hand up. The two men going to step out of the room. As there actually is Izuku, who does stand there looking at that. And Luma and Atea, the two both somewhat stare at each other from across the table. Both of them trying to figure out exactly what to do, how to handle this. And Kendo, yeah. Those two, from what she heard, were a little violent. They called their armadas, and they are currently a bit of a problem, since they're in orbit. So, she's got to find a way to talk both of these aliens down. Okay. So, there's no way to come to agreement with you two, is there? No, not really. Unless it involves me being married and her being off the planet. You really think he wants to marry a flabby Tetraman? Flabby? I'm not flabby. Could have fooled me. Really? And you think he wants to marry some small green frog? Incursions are not frogs. Really? Then what are you? Green? Massive tongue? And you jump correctly? Yes, and your species is full of meatheads, isn't it? Deku hearing his badge buzz. Everyone looking towards him as he does bring his hand up. And it's a message from Bakugo. This is very important. I'm going to jump up, talking about how he's got to take this. And Deku does go running out of the room. Currently, he's going to do so, as right now, he does got to bring his badge up, pressing a button and talking about it. What the hell did he do? Hey, Mizuku, I've gotten a message from Plumber HQ. Listen, I am sorry. Where is Argent? He's in Undertown. Listen, if you need my help with the situation, I'm willing to help out. No, Bakugo, you already did. Argent made a mistake. Deku hanging up, and Bakugo does look down at his badge, before looking up and seeing a Tetraman battleship. Uh-huh. Right. Argent made the mistake. He might have fucked up on this. Definitely screwed the pooch. And currently their actions are dictated to the turn, as there is Eunice standing there. And she does not walk up, asking if everything's okay. What are you doing here? I thought things were bad. You ran this way. I tried to follow you, but you're fast. I think I passed this hallway a few times. Okay. Him bringing his hands up. It's gonna be, fine, Eunice. It's gonna be fine. Listen, the situation's a bit bad. There's a meeting going on in this room, and I need to handle it. Though I need to handle something else first. I've got some important business to attend to. Stay here? I wish I could get you back to your room, but I've got to do something first. Him transforming. Currently a big chill. Talking about it. Stay safe. And, well, be careful. I'm gonna fly up. And Eunice does guess won't stand there. Her gonna turn and look at the door. Right. Business to take care of. So, maybe she can help. Okay, um, so that button, her pressing it, and the door does it open. Currently there, being where Atea does stand there, her holding her weapons as Luma does hold a chair, and Kendo currently has both of her hands wrapped around the two as the door opened again. And all of them are staring at Eunice, who does a step in, asking about what's happening. Hi, you might want to leave. Who is she? Who is the blondie? Um, Hi, I'm Eunice. I'm a friend of Izuku's. A friend of his? Yeah, I was told you guys are trying to do something. Maybe I can help? All of them going to look over. And Kendo does express. Currently, her going to let go of everyone and then going to turn, walking over. Maybe it'd be best if she heads back to her room. I mean, she remembers where it's at. Not really. All my stuff's over with Izuku. Yeah, maybe you should head back. Where did he go? He's gone. He had to take care of something. She knows Izuku. Her stuff is with him? Maybe I'd like to talk to her. Currently, Yuna's gonna turn. Talking about it. She knows a lot, but right now she's still highly confused about a few things. Izuku's her friend. Uh-huh. And currently let's cut over to Bakugo. Bakugo's been trying to call Deku over and over and over, and he has not answered. And it has him kind of worried. Arjit's in Undertown, and he made a mistake. He clearly misunderstood him. Buy a special gift for Luma. Yeah. So that has him concerned. And currently there actually is Arjit. He does sit there in his legitimate business, trying to think about what to do. Trying to figure out how he can handle a few things, think of a few things. He should be okay. He should be fine. And when there actually is at the door, it is a bust off its hinges and fly through the air. Arjit gonna dive under his desk as is a turn, watching the door be embedded into the wall. And Izuku, he does some stepping in. Currently him going to express, as he has to transform back into a human. Arjit. Hey, Izuku boy. How you doing? I want to talk to you. Nice jacket. You, get it from somewhere fancy? I mean, I could hook you up with a few things, you know? Arjit, I want to talk to you. What you did might cost us Earth. Hey, I was just told to, get her something special. You did. You got her something special. And you might have just do my entire species doing it. Arjit, I am fed up with a lot of shit. Deku's stepping forwards. And Arjit, he is gonna react. Currently him firing some spikes at Deku. And Deku, he doesn't immediately hit the ground. Falling backwards, as Arjit does a leap onto his desk. Talking about it. Listen, he gets that he made a mistake. And, clearly he didn't like that he bought Luma a few extra gifts. And, well, maybe a few other things, but can he really blame him? He was just trying to help. Arjit? Yeah? Deku going to sit up. And right now Arjit does a stare on. As Deku does to pull his jacket, and the spikes, they do go to fall out as the indent is visible. And, Neat jacket. Deku gonna transform. Currently him turning into goop. And Argent immediately does a bolt. Currently him trying to dive past the attack Deku sends at him. And the floor, it does begin to melt. Him currently gonna turn and bolt. And currently Argent is running down the street of Undertown. Crap, 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 crap. Okay. Maybe he may have made a mistake. Currently I'm gonna turn, running into an alleyway and seeing Deku. And Deku does stand there right now as accelerate. Him gonna turn. Before he's gonna climb up the wall and try to get away. And that it definitely does mean something. Okay. Maybe he can escape. No, wait. He's talking about frickin' Izuku, the guy who has the Omnitrix. Currently Argent on the roof. Gonna turn and run off. Currently him turning his head and seeing Deku, who does not blast out beams down at Argent. Currently him is Jet Ray. And the guy, he's not having a lot of fun. And Deku, he doesn't watch that. Argent running from rooftop to rooftop. Him diving off of one and smashing onto a car. It driving down the road as Izuku, he does get a turn watching that. Landing on the roof and transforming back into a human. And Argent, he does think he's safe. Before Deku does get leap onto the road. Currently him transforming into Accelerate and bolting down the road. And Argent, he does sit there, enjoying a bit of a fresh breath of relief, as the truck does a pull out and out of Undertown. Currently it's making its way out of the city and onto the highway. And Deku, he currently does sit there, as Argent, he does turn his head, looking behind him and trying to see if Izuku is still there. And Deku, he does stand there with his arms crossed right now as himself. And Argent will immediately turn, blasting out spikes at Deku. One going to hit Deku directly in the face, as it is to seep into his skin, and Izuku does stand there, before bringing his hand up and covering Argent in the open tendril, before he's to hold him up in the air and smash him onto the back of the truck, before he's to hold him upside down and hang him over the side, before going to step forwards and tell Argent he messed up. He's had to deal with Luma already enough, and she has been a massive pain in his side. I get it. Listen, it won't happen again. You gotta trust me on that. Argent, if I let you go, will you leave Earth? Yeah, sure, whatever. Listen, I just got a few things to wrap up here. Argent, I am giving you one chance. Either clean up your act or get off my planet. Do one or the other. Next time I see you involved in anything that's fishy, I am going to turn to Ripjaws and bite your head off. Deku transforming, currently holding Argent by the leg and snapping his jaws in his face. Before he's at turn, currently smashing him down to the truck and talking about it. If he does have to talk again, then it is going to be a bit of a problem. Deku transforming, currently talking about it. He's a bit busy now. Him flying into the air and telling him one more time. Remember, before he gets to the turn, a sonic boom can be heard, and Argent does sit there. Currently, him trying his best not to lose his shit. Since, yeah, maybe that was a bit too far. Maybe next time. No, fuck that. No, next time. Definitely no next time. And someone, they were watching this, a bit more intrigued, since the quick transformations, everything about this, all of it seems rather intriguing. So yes, maybe they'll have to talk to the little rat, see exactly what he can do for them. Or perhaps they can look back into Izuku Midoriya, retrace his steps, find out exactly where he has been. And currently there is Izuku, who does gonna make his way back to the base as fast as possible. Currently him phasing into the room and landing on the table, transforming back into a human, and looking around. Sorry about that. That was... Huh? Eunice. Atea... Luma, where did you guys' dads go? Please don't tell me they just started the war. Um, no. I think we might have come to a bit of a compromise. You did? Yeah, though you are gonna have to agree to some things. Uh, and what I have to agree with? Yes. Well, it is rather not fun. It does still adhere to my traditions. Uh, Along with that, I was hoping I can talk to Izuku. Maybe you and Eunice? Uh, See about if we can agree to the deal. The terms are simple? Uh-huh. Eunice, did you have a hand in this? I tried my best to help. Um, Hopefully everything's okay. Her giving Izuku a smile. And Deku, he's... Oh god. What did she do? Currently, Deku going to walk out of the room with Kendo and Eunice. And Kendo does express, currently, that... Okay. The deal is a little complicated. Along with that, well, she's hoping to talk to him about a lot of personal things. Oh god. Yeah, it wasn't that hard. Maybe I should be a diplomat. This diplomacy stuff seems easy. Okay, Eunice, how about you just let me and Kendo talk? Um, okay, but it wasn't that hard to figure out a solution. Besides, her holding up a communicator, talking about it, all they have to do is make the request. Huh? Yeah. Curly, Kendo turning her head, grabbing Atea's communicator and talking about it. Atea never had the bomb. Apparently, the person who has the switch for it, they listen to her. And they have a direct line to Atea. So all they've got to do is ask for the location, and once everything's approved, Atea will give them a phrase. Then they'll know where the location of the bomb is. You serious? Yeah. Though, Izuku, it's gonna be complicated. Surprisingly, Eunice is actually really friendly. I noticed. So, I'm guessing this deal has to do with me, Atea, and Luma. Um, well, I mean, if you're open to it, maybe we can start again. I'm sorry, what? Izuku, I'm. I've tried going on a few dates, but a lot of people don't really like me for being open. They think I'm weird. Uh, okay. Mm-hmm. And I just like you, Izuku. Uh-huh. So, I'm assuming the deal is I'm with Taya and I'm with Luma, right? And you're saying you want to get back together with me. Um, well, the deal was actually that we all sort of share you. Um, I mean, that's a little. I would, uh, I would need time to even consider that. Okay, Izuku, just think about it for 1 second. Okay, Atea and Luma, they do share you, so it's not that complicated of a deal, right? I mean, it happened in the future timeline. Okay. Maybe it can work. Izuku does get a turn, expressing he's gotta take a few days to consider this whole thing. Really? Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong at all. It sounds really weird, but you don't think it sounds bad? I honestly don't know how to react. Listen, I took out some sort of shapeshifter that had an Omnitrix-like weapon, and Albedo's coming back to Earth. I've sort of got my plate piled high. Oh, okay. But you're willing to try, right? I'm... I don't know how to answer that, Kendo. I'm sorry. I don't know if I ever made that clear. I'm really sorry. But now I'm involved in all this weirdness, and you were kind of the best guy I dated. I was the only guy you dated. That's my point. I'm not even sure how I can begin to apologize, Izuku. I'll let them know, though. Her going to turn. And Deku, he does bring his hand up, talking about it. Let him be the one who talks about this. It'd be better to hear it from him, right? Right. Sorry, I just got a bit caught up in a few things. Deku going to walk into the room. And currently, he does express, holding Atea's communicator. Okay then. They're gonna have to make sure he knows the whole thing. So, they're okay with this. We have our own concerns. Yeah, though we'll figure that out ourselves. Okay. Besides, everything should go smoothly. Earth is added. Yes. And we both get what we want. Plus, fact of the matter is, we don't have to share most of the time. Uh-huh. Right. I've got to think on this for a few days. Sure. Her gonna turn, asking for her communicator back. And Deku, he has a stare at Taya. Her giving a bit of a smile, talking about it. How about this? She's gonna disable the bomb and hand it over to the plumbers, if that makes them feel better. Her people could always plant a new one. Not the most comforting. Sorry, encouraging DNA. Though, it's our way. Her expressing, walking up and talking about it. Her communicator. Deku hanging over as the ground is a shake, and Atea does it to yell the phrase out loud, telling them that they should not have fired on Earth. And someone does express that that was not them. And Atea does express to them to hand over the bomb to the plumbers, and this is the phrase. Now, they do acknowledge Atea. Before communications, they do get a cutout. And Izuku, he does have someone stand there. Him a bit concerned. Before there is, Riza turn and Kendo does nod. The two make their way out of the room as there is Albedo. Albedo, he decided to make his presence known on Earth. He decided to let Izuku know about what he was doing. And this, it's a good show. One that definitely does help him understand. But one Deku could have really gone without. And currently Deku, him and Kendo are making their way down the hallway. Since this is really not good. And the bases continue to shake. Deku going to turn. Telling Kendo bring his into his watch. Tapping a button asking exactly what's going on. And currently the situation can be heard. People are encountering Albedo. And Albedo, he currently is taking down multiple squads of plumber agents. People are down and right on the base, they are trying to throw everything they've got at the sky. Though, they go hearing it cut out, as is a turn over to a different frequency. Him going to transform and turn to Kendo. Going to express, right now, she needs to get Eunice and keep her safe. What about you? It's Albedo. I've kicked his ass before. I can do it again. Though, what you gotta do is make sure to keep people clear. I can't have civilians in the crossfire. I'm gonna get the plumbers to pull back and handle him myself. Him gonna turn, expressing. Last time he had a time limit, this time he doesn't. He's got a few tricks up his sleeve. And if this Ultimatrix thing really is as powerful as he has heard, then he's gonna need every advantage he can get. Call them back, and when he can, he'll order them to strike. and she doesn't understand. Her going to ask him to stay safe. And Deku, he doesn't nod his head. The visor on Accelerate's face going to shoot down as Deku, he does go to leave. And currently, there is where Kendo does a turn. Her bolting back down the hallway since they need to get to the armory. And then they need to get Eunice out of here. If she can tell Atea and Luma, they might be able to back Izuku up, help them out. Though their forces definitely aren't going to be very much helpful here. And Deku, he currently is makes it down the hallway. Him going to stop when he does come into one of the main rooms. And he does look around, seeing the fire, seeing everything around. This does not look too good. Him gonna look down and see Albedo. Currently him holding a plumber agent and turning to Deku, expressing, "It's nice to see him again." Before he's gonna turn, bring his hand up and frying the man directly in front of Izuku. And Deku does watch the ash fly from Albedo's hand. Him expressing, and here he thought he'd have to put so much effort into hunting him down. What the hell are you? Confused? Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Albedo. Or, well, this transformation you know a bit familiar as Swamp Fire. But this is Ultimate Swamp Fire. Ultimate Swamp Fire? It doesn't even look like the same alien. Wait a second. Ultimate? Your ultimate enemy. And Deku, he does have those words ring in his mind. Ultimatrix. Ultimate. No. That means Albedo's the one who's... And Deku, he does feel angry. Currently him going to run. And Albedo, he does a watch. Currently Deku does a run and bolt down the side of the wall. For he's to leap through the air and bringing his hand up. Him slashing out and punching Albedo across the face. For Deku's to land, him going to turn and throw his foot out, kicking Albedo in the back of the leg. Before Albedo, he has to begin to fall forwards. And Deku immediately does a spin around Albedo. Albedo bring his hand up and trying to blast Deku. As Deku, he has to bring his hand up and smash his fist upwards. Him blasting out his Deku, he currently is trying to funnel air around Albedo. Albedo going to turn his head and bring his hands down. Him smashing them down his Deku, he is sent flying. Him smash onto the ground and going to turn. Before Deku, he has to stand back up. Him turning into a hybrid. Before, he has to stare directly at his enemy. Staring at the person who is going to kill his grandfather. The worst? No. His greatest opponent. Himself. And Deku, he has to rush forwards. Currently, him bringing his hand up and uppercutting Ultimate Swampfire. As Swampfire is to bring his hand up, punching Deku across the face. And Deku, he has to bring his own hand up. Currently, Albedo throwing his hands down his Deku with a grab on Albedo's arms. And Albedo, he is stronger. And Deku, he does notice this. Him beginning to push back with all of his might. Though Albedo would bring his leg up, smashing Deku in the gut, before sending out a blast of fire, sending Deku flying backwards and smashing through the air. Him hanging to the ground and going to sit there. As Albedo does express, he does have to say though, this is a rather interesting thing. Him bringing his hands up to his shoulders and grabbing the paws before expressing. He has a lot more new tricks. Him throwing them out and directly at Izuku. And Deku, he has to look up before turning to accelerate and going to turn, running off and seeing the explosions. Him being sent flying and smashing on one of the walls. Before going to turn and stand, turning directly into Big Chill as Albedo does a stare at that. Him talking about how that's useless. The Necrophrygians' cold breath, their abilities, are nowhere near as powerful as his own. And Deku stares. We're going to fly forwards and directly at Albedo. Him bring his hands up as soon as a blast of ice and Albedo is immediately going to blast out the massive wall of fire. And Deku, he does immediately have his ice get engulfed as it will evaporate. And Deku does that turn intangible. Him flying through the blast and bringing his hands up. Currently him flying directly in Albedo, and Albedo's a freeze over. Currently Deku spinning back around as he has a fly back through. turning and blasting out Albedo, beginning to cover Ultimate Swamp Fire in as much ice as he can. And Deku, he doesn't feel the heat being generated. As Albedo, he is going to send out a massive blast as Deku is sent flying backwards to the air. Currently, him flying up and seeing Albedo, currently producing a ton of steam as he step forwards, as the ultimate alien. And Izuku, he is beginning to realize a lot of things. There is a massive gap between the two. He can't really win this. It's going to be hard. He's got to think of about what to do. Okay. He's tested out a few of the aliens in the Omnitrix already over the course of the week. And one of them might be able to handle this. Though, pulling that out, no. It's better than an alternative. If he uses Alien X, then that might give the Albedo the idea to use it. But he hasn't already. Does that mean he's worried about it? No. He doesn't know the power of it, right? Maybe. That's certainly something. Okay. Alien X is a last resort. An alternative. If he has to make another deal with Bellicus and Sooner right now, that could be bad. They'd have all the power. He's talking about killing someone. But Albedo, is it really an option? It's his grandfather. Of course it's a fucking option. And Izuku, he won't stand there. Albedo, looking at him and beginning to express. He needs to give up. Right now, they have a plan in motion. And Izuku, he's already fallen for the trap. What? What are you talking about? Deku transforming. Currently him turning in a squid lift. And Albedo does a blast out fire as Deku does a throw in his hands, creating an invisible shield. The fire hitting an invisible wall as is a sprout into a massive triangle. And Deku, he does stare at that. As Albedo, he does express, bringing his hands up, blasting out more and more fire. And Deku, he has created a massive ball around him. Albedo, watching him as Deku, does still stand there, levitating in the air as the tendril-headed alien. And people, they do begin to make their way up. Deku turning his head and shouting out for all of them to stay back. And Albedo's at a turn, noticing a few people in the crowd. Some, they look a little familiar. Though, others, they don't. If he's right, that person over there is Princess Atea. This Princess Luma. The fact that they're here on Earth does mean something. I'm turning and seeing Kendo. And, well, what do we have here? Him looking on. And Deku, here's a shout for all of them to get the hell out of here. Him flying forwards and currently smashing on his Humongosaur, beginning to grow in size and shouting for Albedo to focus on him. And Albedo's at a turn. Currently, him rushing forwards and blasting out fire. And Deku, he's going to run through the blast. Feeling the heat hit his skin, he's just an uppercut ultimate swamp fire. Albedo flying into the air as Deku does a throw in his hand, grabbing Albedo by the leg and smashing him down into the ground. And he's going to bring his hand up over his head, smashing it down to Albedo. Him pummeling Albedo down into the ground more. And Deku, his entire fist rocks the ground underneath them. And Albedo, he's a grab Deku, blasting into him. Currently, the two collapsing the ground and falling further into the base. And this, it does pose a number of concerns. Currently, Atea going to turn, shouting about how they need to call incursion forces to deal with this thing. Deal with whatever the hell that is. And there actually is Luma, who's a turn, and begin to express to some of the Tetramans here. Right now she wants all hands on deck. Her husband is currently facing off against a threat, one that is unknown to them. And she'd like all of the warriors to be ready for battle, now. And there actually is Izuku. Him and Albedo went tumbling further into the base. The two were trying to fight for control. Albedo was trying to blast out fire at Deku, and Deku, whenever Albedo was able to let go of him, he transformed into another alien. Him blasting out his hands and smashing Albedo directly into the ground. As currently Deku, he has a flight there in the air, and Albedo, he does a stand. Currently him regenerating the arm he just blasted off. And he does a stare up at the alien Deku chose. Because of course, Of course, this little human happened to gain more control over the Omnitrix. Master control at that. It explains a few things. And he has a stare up. As Deku hears it begin to fly there in the air. Him, right now, as Atomics. And he does express to the evildoer in front of him that he will not take his friends, he will not take his allies, and most importantly, he will stop the future from happening. And Deku is to bring his hands up, blasting a massive beam as Albedo hears it transform. Currently, him flying up into the air as hears it turn into Big Chill. And hears it express, maybe that would be correct, though if he does know his plans, then he should know. He's not working alone. Bringing his hand up, transforming right now into Ultimate Big Chill, expressing, there's a lot of things he doesn't understand or recognize yet. Maybe this was the wrong choice. Give him a second. Him blasting out ice as Deku hears to watch the fire shoot from Albedo's mouth. Him flying backwards and away, bringing his hands up. However, here's to watch this fire turn directly into ice. And that... what? No. Deku seeing a green flash, blasting his hand out and punching directly through the wall. It, gonna shatter as Deku does see an alien with blue skin and a metallic feel to it. And Deku, he does a stare at Ultimate Echo. And this does not look good. He doesn't recognize that alien. It's an Ultimate, right? The Ultimatrix has that strange thing on it. So, which one is that? And Deku, he does stare at Albedo. Him looking up and beginning to fly up into the air, expressing, in a more robotic voice, he really is forgetting. He is a smart mind, better than that of the first thinker Azimuth. He was considered the greatest mind in 3 galaxies, Milky Way, Andromeda, and a third useless one. However, he has more intelligence than that. He has more intelligence than that. He is a greater mind. And Azimuth, he has decided to throw away his intelligence on useless little tools. Fact of the matter is, the universe is full of chaos, and he plans to weaponize and harness that. He wants to return back to the Galvanic Prime. He wants to turn back into a species and be the ultimate Galvan, greater than that of Azimuth, and take his place as first thinker. He has wasted the potential he has. And right now, he is not going to let that happen. Currently, Deku watching his disc due to fly off of Albedo's body. And as Deku, he does stand there as Atomics, flying backwards and bringing his hands up. As trying to create a wall that does going to protect him. And Albedo does a blast out with a massive amount of sound waves. And Deku, he does feel that rock his entire body as he's flying backwards. Him blasting his hands out as right now he's to blast away one of the sound waves and create a massive explosion. And Albedo, he does go flying backwards and away. Currently him flying in the air and bringing his hands up, getting ready to send out his next attack. And we do currently have over back at the campsite with Grandpa Ken and the plumber helpers. All of them, they were training to do a lot, to handle many things, keep everything sorted, take on any threats that will catch you by surprise. But there's surprise, and then there's this. As currently Vilgax the Conqueror, he does stand there over defeated enemies, looking down. And currently, he is to bend down and stab his hand working the back of one of the defeated, picking them up and expressing, holding them over his head, as their blood does begin to pour down his arm. Right now, he takes this as a trophy. And right now, Kentaro Midoriya is his prisoner. He wants to make this all aware. All of them are left to send a message. Those who will survive their injuries, good for them. They are strong. They are warriors who will see battle another day. As for those who are dead, that is no longer their concern. They fought bravely and adamantly, and they've been given a warrior's death. That is his mercy. And those who will fight again, know this. He will not be so merciful next time. He was only here to take a prisoner. And they simply got in the way. That is their penance. In Vilgax, there's a flying up in the air. Currently, him holding Pierce up with one arm and holding Kentaro Midoriya by the shirt as he's flying back up to his ship. He's got his prisoner and he's got his trophy. And the warriors here today, they were quite childish. However, they will be enough to send the message he wants them to send. And currently, we do cut back over to Deku. Deku, him and Albedo are still going at it. Albedo firing sound attacks from the disc he is flying at Deku. And Deku, he does a turn. Currently, him flying through the air and bringing his hands up, blasting on a massive attack. As Albedo, he does go to bring his hand up and fire two disc out. One of them blocking the attack, and the other one is trying to fire sound waves at it to try and produce a wall of sound. And Izuku, he is staring at this. Albedo's practiced with the Ultimatrix. Currently, Deku turning his foot and blasting out. Him flying towards Albedo and getting ready. Him uppercutting the creature as he's flying backwards, smashing through a wall. And Deku, he does stare on. Him thinking more about what to do. Currently, him bringing his hands up and beginning to focus on his abilities. A lot of these creatures in the Omnitrix, these aliens, are highly powerful. And Atomics is one of them. Deku's trying to focus on it. Like he's Alien X. Focus like that. Create. And Deku, he does go to begin to produce more and more atomic energy. Him pouring with his nuclear power. And Albedo, he does him flying out. Currently, him staying there and floating in the air. As is Express. The battle has proven much. The Ultimatrix, it is good. However, the fact they're sitting toe-to-toe, it does say a lot. Deku firing out a massive blast as Albedo is a fly to the left and dodge. Expressing to him, he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to take his life. Besides, a lot more is on the line. Allies have already fallen. The hell are you on about, you villain? Simple. Now cut out that idiotic voice. We have your grandfather in custody now. Your friends got in the way. You are dastardly. Good. Listen. We want to trade. The Ultimatrix is a powerful weapon. You know that. Without this time limit of yours, we'd just be going back and forth for hours. Now, how about this? The Omnitrix for your grandfather's life. Hand it over, and we let him go. I become a proper Galvan again, and Vilgax, he gets it. You're working with Vilgax. Yes, the conqueror of 10 worlds. Your other enemy. In fact, he was quite intrigued to work with me. I offered much to him, and he liked that. Your last encounter with the man, he definitely did not like it. He felt like he was inadequate. Though, he definitely has improved a lot since then. I must say. I did have quite a bit of a hand in it. Though conquering more enemies of his, it certainly has helped him immensely. Conquering you will certainly do both of us good. And Deku does stare at Albedo. Currently, Luma coming flying down as she's a tackle Droki into Ultimate Echo. And they're actually Atea, who does come flying down with a jetpack and looking around. Her turning her attention towards Izuku as he's going to bring his hand up and go to express. It is him! And she's a turn back, looking at the unknown alien. Then again, both of these are unknown. And Luma, she is blasted backwards as her Tetramans, they do begin to fill into the area. And Ultimate Echo, he does go to express. He's already made the offer. Him going to bring his hands up and shoot multiple discs out around him. him beginning to target parts of the walls and shake up the entire ground. And the ground doesn't just shake. They're at the lowest part of the base, and Albedo is about to collapse it in. And that is a problem. Deku, seeing the walls begin to crack and seeing exactly how the wall and roof do begin to cave in. And Izuku, he just stare at this. Before Albedo is a flying up into the air expressing to him about his choices. Follow or save. And Deku, here's a turn, bringing his hands up and blasting at the walls. Him beginning to try and focus on these abilities. Focus on what he can do. Atomics can rip matter apart, but it can also put it back together. And Deku, here's a fly forwards, bringing his hands up and pouring energy into the wall. Focusing, trying to think, and trying to figure out how to handle this. Albedo and Vilgax teamed up. And that is one of the worst things that can happen in his mind. Contact Azimuth, figure this all out. Him gonna turn. Him flying backwards and grabbing onto the roof. Him beginning to move it upwards as he's gonna bench press almost the entire base. And Izuku, he is trying to put things back together. Turning his head and blasting to the ceiling. As the ceiling, it does begin to feel less and less, heavy. Feeling it become more and more stable. And as I turn, seeing the Tetramans trying to hold up the rest of the base. There are squads of them, just trying to put pressure on the walls, trying to make sure it does not collapse inwards. And Izuku, he has to flying up and try to help them. Currently the plumbers and Tetramans trying to secure everything. And the incursions, multiple ships were already beginning to pursue Albedo. However, they fell. They were being slaughtered. And we do currently have Izuku. Whenever he does get everything secure, he does it a fly up. Currently him flying out of the base and going to turn. Thinking about what he can do. If he can follow Albedo. See what can happen. And as I hear Mark, along with a few other of the Magisters, tell him, right now, come back to base. And Deku expresses, negative. He has to follow them. They have his grandfather. Izuku. It's Vilgax, Mark. It's Vilgax. Izuku, that's an order. Deku going to somewhat stop. And Mark expresses, he's sorry. He's already gotten the distress call and they're sending units out there. But right now, they have to take casualty reports. They've lost dozens. And this, it's not good. People might think this was the incursions or Tetramans. They don't know what's happening. No one on Earth knows about Albedo. Remember? And Izuku, he does listen. As he hear another Magister yell in his ear about what's going on. About the situation. Izuku, he can be forgiven for his high emotional state. However, right now, they need to take reports. They need to figure everything out. They need to know what the fuck just happened and what they were hit by. And Izuku, he does get debriefed. Currently the plumbers trying to use a lot. And Blue Kids and Driva, they have already sent out repair droids to try and fix everything in the base. And that will certainly take some time. A few hours, in fact. And there is Izuku. Izuku, he does sit in his room. Just trying to focus on it. Trying to think on it. It's not good. His grandfather might have just been killed. No. The Omnitrix for his life. Albedo and Vilgax, they teamed up. Jesus fucking Christ. But there's a flaw there. Their alliance, it's built off of hating him. Their alliance is only steady because they want the Omnitrix. But Vilgax wants a weapon. So why not just betray Albedo? Albedo's smart, but he's too cocky. That's another thing. He doesn't realize he's in a trap. The moment Albedo lets down his guard, he's fried. And Deku, he does have this thought cross his mind. If he got his ass handed him by Albedo as an ultimate, then why go after the Omnitrix? If Vilgax is trying to weaponize it, the Ultimatrix is a weaponized version. It's an upgrade. Huh. Yeah. Maybe he'll bring that up in his meeting. See how exactly that does shift their alliance. And Deku does hear knocking on the door. Him turning his head as right now the door does open. Deku turning and going to see Kendo and Eunice. Hey, you okay? Eunice walking over and giving Izuku a hug. And Deku, he does want to bring his hand up. Him patting Eunice on the back as he does express, he's got a lot of bruises. Her going to back away and express, sorry, she was worried. She wasn't the only one. You, good? Not really, no. Albedo and Vilgax teamed up. That's not good. It's really bad. Actually, one of the worst possible things that could happen. Just whenever I thought I was getting control of this villain bullshit. So what are we gonna do? I don't know, Eunice. Listen, right now you shouldn't be involved in this. Albedo Knight might know what you are. Okay. But you need to stay safe. Listen, if Albedo knows what you are, I don't know what he could use you for. He might hurt you. Okay? I understand. Right. So what are you going to be doing, Izuku? I've got to talk to some friends of mine. See how they're doing. Plumbers sent teams out there to help them. Though, I'm not sure if they're okay. I heard they got messed up pretty badly. A few of them, they might have been hurt. So, what does that mean? It means that they might have been killed. Or worse. I've got to check it out. Deku going to stand. And he does this at once, as there is somebody else at the door, talking about it. Are they trying to get a head start? Deku turning his head. Currently seeing Luma. Her talking about it. The fact of the matter is, they are dealing with a very dangerous enemy, are they not? We are. Listen, let me handle it. If I need your help, I can call in backup. But this guy, he's almost exactly like me. Though he's just a bit more of an asshole. Really now? So there's two of you. Not really, Luma. That's a whole complicated thing. He's not really me, but he looks like me. Let's put it this way. I'm the default for the Omnitrix. He's not. So he turned into you. Yeah. Actually, not that long of a story. Anyways, listen, Atea. Wait. Deku looking back at the two, and seeing that Atea does stand there in the doorway with Luma. Her expressing. She lost some pretty good ships, and a lot of people. Though, she feels like she's pretty involved in this. Yes, and the Tetramans, they're not willing to stand down to any enemy. We are relentless. Good. If I do need your help, I'll call you. Though, I might need to make a phone call to someone else. Really? So have you considered our offer? The deal? Well, that's a lot more complicated. Listen, I've got something to do for a few hours. I'm gonna go and handle that. I'm gonna talk to someone first, though, and check up on them. Deku going to transform. currently him flying to the ceiling as the four are left there. And Kendo talks about it. Don't take it personally, but Izuku, he's had lots of troubles before in the past. And this is kind of a bit strange to him. Seems strange to me. Not really. I'm turning to Ateya, as they do question that. And Deku, right now, he is head to another plumber facility, since he does need to check up on his allies. Make sure they're okay. Make sure they're fine. Since he heard that Pierce was killed. He even heard that Melissa might have taken the brunt of it. So he's got to find out how she's doing. Maybe... No. Manny can handle himself. Alan and Helen. Those two really can't. And Deku, he does go to head out to see them. Right now, him going to check up on them. And they aren't doing too good. They're still unconscious. But Deku, he can see the damage. Vilgax certainly did not show mercy. And right now, Deku, he has to talk to Bellicus and Serena. He might be able to do a lot here. But making another deal? Right now, he's not too sure if he can. If he should. It would be the best option. But he needs to handle this himself. It's his ultimate enemy. Right? And, well, the last time they talked about a few things, it was a lot more hard to negotiate. They wouldn't let him go after some of those things. They kept going back to them. But he had to make some hard calls on that. So yeah. If they're dealing with the easy stuff, this is going to get bad. Real bad. He's got to find out how to handle those too. Maybe afterwards. No. He needs to find a way to make a deal to gain control. If he has control over Alien X, it can help him. If not, he has to find a middle ground with them. A way to work with them. A way to do something. And right now with that being said, Deku, he has to transform. Trying to finish his contract with these two. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.